Today, or tonight I should say, we have DJ Mary Mack on the turntables. We have a distinguished group of city leaders, including Speaker Corey Johnson. We also have some of the stars, creative people, and co-producer of Pose celebrating with us tonight. Have you all seen Pose? I said, have you all seen Pose? That's what I thought so. You know, Pose takes us back to a different time in our city's history when businesses weren't flying rainbow flags. There was no Rainbow Railroad. Our city didn't elect LGBTQ leaders, not openly anyway. Gracie Mansion wasn't holding Pride celebrations. But this community, you changed our city. Yeah. You marched, you fought, you stood up and said, we're here, we're trans and queer, and we're not going anywhere. Didn't you? Didn't you? Yeah. So this year, we kicked off Pride Month by honoring two of our heroes who led the way, two trans women of color who history tried to forget. Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. We are giving them a permanent place of honor along Christopher Street, the first ever permanent public artwork honoring trans women in the world. And just as important as these statues is keeping their legacy alive. Their unwavering commitment to support trans and queer youth inspired the New York City Unity Project. Have you all seen the posters? Posters and in the subways and on the bus shelters, have you seen them? Well, look for them. You're gonna see something different. We all want, or I should say, we want all LGBTQ young people to know that their city has their back. That is why we're guaranteeing health care for all. That's why we have LGBTQ community centers open 24/7 in every borough. And that is why we are helping families accept and support their LGBTQ children. Today, there are more services and resources to support LGBTQ young people than ever before. But we're not done yet. Are we? No. Are we done? No. Are we done? No. Right, there is so much more to do. But there is no great progress without sorrow and struggle. As we mark 50 years of progress since Stonewall, there are still too many, far too many, who don't feel safe in their homes or our public spaces. From the White House attacks to attacks across the country to our own city, there are those who attack our LGBTQ community members, especially trans women of color. So tonight is more than a celebration of past victories. It is a show of strength and a commitment to keep on fighting. As we show the world how New York City does Pride, let's remember those who cannot celebrate with us, like Leilene Polanco, whose family and friends are grieving. We have lost too many, too soon. Can we please take a moment to remember all those we've lost? Let's bring them close by saying their names out loud together. Now, Donald Woods, Lynn Kagwa, Leilene, I don't hear you. Say their names of people you have lost. Thank you. We must keep them close to us. Will you keep on fighting for them and all those who are struggling to find acceptance and support? Really? Really? That's more like it. Good. Well, now it is my pleasure to introduce someone who has been a proud ally to the LGBTQ movement long before I met him. Please welcome my partner in all things, our mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Happy Pride! Could we just hear a shout out for Chirlane's high fashion eyewear? Chirlane, I am so proud to do everything with you, but I'll be very proud marching under that rainbow flag on Fifth Avenue with you. Everybody, here in New York City, we say proudly we have the largest LGBTQ community on the earth right here in New York City. And this extraordinary community, and I want to thank you, so many people here tonight. I want to thank you for all you do for New York City. I want to thank you for being such a core part of the fabric of New York City. I want to thank you for making New York City great. Welcome to the People's House. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but this house belongs to you. No, you can't move in immediately, but it does belong to you. It's the People's House. Now, are you ready to celebrate 50 years of progress? Are you ready to march down Fifth Avenue next week? Are you ready for the biggest, the most beautiful, the proudest Pride events in the history of Pride? I believe you. Now, we have so many people here that I want to just quickly acknowledge, but they do such amazing work for the city. And so many members of this community and proud members of this community, and they are exemplary public servants. And I need you to give them love as I announce each of them, starting with the woman who is literally the glue of our entire government, one of the greatest public servants you will ever meet, my Chief of Staff, Emma Wolf. The Chair of the Human Rights Commission, Carmelyn Malalis. Our Commissioner for Labor Relations, Renee Campion. Our Commissioner and former Army General, Commissioner for Veteran Services, Lori Sutton. Our nominee to become the new Commissioner and Chair of the Taxi and Limousine Commission, Jeff Roth. Community Affairs Commissioner Marco Carrion. Immigrant Affairs Commissioner Bita Mostafi. Small Business Services Commissioner Greg Bishop. Our new Commissioner for Buildings, Melanie LaRocca. Director of Appointments and Personnel, Joni Kletter. Two people get a lot of credit for these great events and so many great events in this city. Our Director for Citywide Events, Ellen Canfield. And the Executive Director for the Gracie Mansion Conservancy, Paul Gunther. The person with the coolest job in New York City, our Director for the Office of Nightlife, Ariel Palitz. And a woman with might be the most righteous job in New York City, our new Director for the Office to Protect Tenants, Jackie Bray. And the Executive Director of the Young Men's Initiative, Sharissa Townsend. The Chief of Staff for the First Lady, Roxanne John. And three people who helped to make tonight's event possible. Let's thank them for that. Our Executive Director of the Office of Special Projects, Melissa Brown. The Executive Director of the NYC Unity Project, Ash McGovern. And my Senior Advisor on LGBTQ Community Affairs, Matt McMorrow. Elected officials and former elected officials, let's thank Council Member Danny Drum. Let's thank a man who always stood up for the community in times when it was often very hard to do, but he stood firm. Let's thank former Mayor David Dinkins. And a great hero of this community, former State Senator Tom Duane. And one more time for this evening's musical entertainment, let's thank DJ Mary Mack. Now we are celebrating tonight. One might say we are partying tonight. But while we are partying, let's have a moment to remember this history. This was the birthplace of a great civil rights movement right here in New York City. 50 years ago at Stonewall, New Yorkers said enough is enough. And we may never know who threw the first brick, but it smashed the status quo, didn't it? That act of resistance put us on a path to progress, and that is what we celebrate today. And since then, New York City has broken down barrier after barrier. New York City passed anti-discrimination laws for the workplace, for schools, for bathrooms. We did that here in this city. This administration made sure that birth certificates and health care reflect gender reality, the choice that each person makes for themselves. And New York City makes it a priority to support aging members of the community and to honor them and to reach out and uplift our youth and to make sure they are safe and sheltered. We have a lot to celebrate, but we also have to speak a truth. There is more to do in this city, and Lord knows there's more to do in this nation. And our work is not finished here. And trans and non-binary people, especially trans women of color, still have to fight for their basic rights every single day, and we have more to do to protect them and support them. And even in this great city where we have come so far, there is still injustice towards the trans community, and we will not accept it. And tonight we have to say something painful. We are all still heartbroken by the loss of Leilene Polanco. We have to get her family the answers that they deserve. We have to get down to the truth of what happened. We have to make sure it never happens again in this city or this nation. And the most essential truth, she should never have been in jail to begin with. And let's thank everyone in Albany who's now passed the laws that will keep people out of jail who do not belong there in the first place. We have an obligation as New Yorkers. We have an obligation to get it right, and we have an obligation to be a beacon to this country, to show people the way it can be, don't we? And one thing we will do for sure, we will host the biggest, most wonderful, most inclusive Pride event ever. And we're apparently going to have about 4 million friends to celebrate with. First ever World Pride celebration in the United States of America. So here is the message that we will send to every New Yorker and every member of this community. Here, this is your home. This is a place for you. This will always be your city. And now to celebrate a group of people who, I have to tell you, it makes me so proud to be a New Yorker. It makes me so proud of what this city is doing to show everyone how we can live together in respect and harmony, and to tell a lot of truths that should have been told a long time ago. Tonight, we honor a group of people for creating a television series. You've never seen anything like it before. It is the ultimate in self-expression and liberation and honesty and truth. Let's bring forward the creator and the cast members, some cast members of Pose. And you are posing. I have to say, for the creator of Pose, Stephen Canals. Let's thank Stephen Canals for this extraordinary work. And two amazing stars, MJ Rodriguez and Angelica Ross. So first of all, I have to say, in our household, we are riveted to this show. When we watch it, we feel uplifted. When we watch Pose, we feel what could be for all of us because it's such a beautiful, beautiful artistic expression. Does it make you proud to be a New Yorker? And this show so powerfully expresses universal humanity. And a lot of people, we were talking about this before, a lot of people need this show to understand what they did not understand before. And when you watch Pose, it transforms you. So I have to say to three of you and all your colleagues, you have done something remarkable and brilliant, and you're a blessing unto this world. And speaking on behalf of Pose superfan Chirlane McCray, we now are going to do one of my favorite things and present a proclamation.
A proclamation?
It's a proclamation. Move over a little bit. Move over a little. All right, now, why is this proclamation so special? Because it's on behalf of all 8.6 million New Yorkers. Because it says really great things about these people and what they have achieved. But the last two lines, I would say, are the most special. And it says, now I, Bill de Blasio, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Thursday, June 20th, 2019 in the City of New York as Pose Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to hear a few words from Stephen Canals. Take the time you need, brother.
Thank you. Ooh, where am I? Okay. Happy Pride. Thank you, Mayor de Blasio and First Lady Chirlane McCray, for inviting Angelica Ross and MJ Rodriguez.
Always.
To receive this incredible honor. What an honor for me as a Bronx-born and bred Afro-Latino. Boogie down. To be invited to Gracie Mansion. As a boy growing up in the housing projects in the 80s, I dreamed that I would have the opportunity to create television in my beloved Big Apple with esteemed collaborators like Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk. I prayed that I would work and that work would be recognized by New York City and the mayor with its own day. And for it to be a reality today is truly a surreal experience. Pose tells a distinctly New York story, a story of family, not the one that we're born into, but the one that we choose. An ode to the connections and commitments that we make to one another. So many people migrate to New York City with aspirations to live authentically. The Harlem-based ballroom community that we center and celebrate on our show brings color and beauty and love to New York and reminds all of us of the importance of family, civility, love, and hope. Pose also showcases those who lived and in some cases continue to live on the margins of New York City. We are telling the story of the LGBT community living and dying of HIV/AIDS, struggling with poverty and addiction, and battling economic disparity. there's no more opportune time in history for this story to be told. We live in a deeply divided time where our hard-fought gains for LGBTQ people have been rolled back, and trans women of color specifically are routinely the threats of physical violence, dealing with and being denied access to medical care, encountering housing discrimination, and being denied employment simply for being and living in their truth. Our beloved city that never sleeps has a responsibility to support the trans community, and specifically trans women of color and all marginalized communities. And I am hopeful that our show's message of inclusivity will inspire each and every one of you to do that work. We all are so honored to be recognized by the mayor as we celebrate Pride Month and the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. This modern-day fight for LGBTQ equality began because women like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and organizations like the Gay Liberation Front had the courage to say the following: I will not be silenced, I will not be erased. We have always been here. Thank you all for seeing us. Thank you for affirming our message. Thank you for this honor. Happy Pose Day.
Okay, give them a thunderous applause. Everybody, happy Pose Day! Happy Pride, make it the best celebration ever. Thank you, everybody.
Check one, check two. Happy Pride, New York City. Happy World Pride, New York City. Happy Pose Day. We're striking a pose. Don't forget, on Pose Day, you strike poses. You wake up, you strike.